Howdy, folks. Brian Cusco here at Triple B TV. And guess what? We're going to sit here and we're going to talk to Robyn Markland from Redline Science. And I would like for him to promote his new company going up, but instead we're just going to talk about his thoughts on AnimalCon because he was there. His perspective coming in as a potentially old grumpy man to an event that's just going to be a bunch of young tech talkers doing selfies with huge inflated egos, and we'll talk about how that went. You're watching Triple B TV.
TV VCR combo.
For a hot minute. You were at AnimalCon.
I was, yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
Honestly, I was blown away.
Okay.
You were not, right?
Well, I wasn't there.
Yeah, you were not. You were not there. You missed it.
I know.
Really good event.
Brian had asked me to be one of the moderators on one of the panels, and I was bummed that I wasn't. I wanted to go really bad.
Okay.
And it looked like it was really cool based on the.
That's right. You made a video that said why I'm not going to AnimalCon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you missed out. So, up to the event, like everybody else, I had no idea what it was going to be. Like I was clueless. I knew it was going to be a bunch of creators there, and Barczek was going to be, he was help promoting and developing it, and NARBC guys, Potter and Ashley and stuff were doing it as well, but they still couldn't tell me what it was, and so I wasn't sure what's going to be the takeaway from it. Why am I going? Why am I going? Because I'm not a creator. I don't really consume a lot of that content.
But you've been in the industry for a long time.
But I've been in the industry a long time, and I knew a lot of the people that were going. And so I thought, I'm just going to wing it and just go and see what happens and see what my takeaways might be. And I knew there was going to be a lot of young folks there, right? Whole new young generation of herpers, reptile fans, and other animal species, mammal folks and fish folks and other folks. And so I said, all right, let's go. I'll make the plan and I'll go. And I just didn't know what to expect. Now, 2 days before the event, I saw the schedule finally, and then it looked really fascinating because every day was like chock full of talks, like panels. And the topics were really interesting, and some of them were more business-oriented, which I like how to grow your audience or how to make engaging content or, marketing type of things. And I love that kind of stuff, business-type stuff. And so it became probably one of the busiest show weekends that I've ever had. Like it was just nonstop. For every panel was 45 minutes. So you go and sit and listen to the people, talk about the experience or whatever the topic was, and you got 15 minutes to try and hustle to the next one. And they were so engaging that I was actually doing that. I was going from one to one to one to one to one and had no downtime. And on Saturday and Sunday in particular, every hour there was like 5 different panels to choose from.
Oh, really? Going on at the same time?
Yeah, in 5 different rooms. So then it became a challenge of like, okay, I'm not interested in this one so much. This one looks really good. This one is okay. Ah, crap. This one looks really good too. So now I have to choose between these two. And I'm like, well, okay, so who's talking on this panel? Who's talking on that panel? Which topic do I really like more? This really sucks because I really want to see both. And again, like sometimes you go to reptile events and they have talks or panels, and sometimes it's not that engaging. But every panel I went to was really interesting. And in the end, it just blew me away. I was super impressed. It was a bit chaotic being the first show.
Sure.
Yeah,
And with that many people and they got people that need to be at panels and...
Yeah. It was hard to wrangle.
Manage people, herding cats probably.
And Potter at one point came up to me and he was like, hey, can you host a panel in 10 minutes? Because the host didn't show up. And so I was like, okay, sure. What's the topic? And he was like, fishing. I was like, I don't know jack shit about fishing, buddy. He's like, no, just go in there and just be like, what's the coolest thing you ever caught? Where's the funnest place to fish? And I thought, this is a recipe for disaster.
Was Dave on that panel?
Dave Kaufman?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't
I
remember.
hope so. He's got his new fishing channel.
So he was on a bunch of panels for sure, and he was on one of the most engaging ones. So, I hate to execute something poorly. Like, you don't want to go in, be unprepared,
Yeah.
and look like an idiot.
Sure.
And it's disrespectful to the panelists who are experts in this field,
Totally.
fishing in this case, for me not to know what the hell is going on. So I was very cautious, but I was like, okay, get me 5 minutes with the panel guys first. I will talk to them. I will get a direction to go, get some tips. I'll bang it out. No problem. I don't have any problem hosting or talking or anything like that. But again, I don't want to be the reason it's a poor panel.
Sure.
But then one of the fishing guys, he had a buddy there that he fishes with all the time, and the buddy was like, well, I'll do it. And so I was like, oh, cool. You do it. So I didn't have to moderate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
At least you were ready and down and willing.
I was willing to do it, sure. It kind of sucked because there was another panel I wanted to go watch. So I ended up getting to watch it. But anyways, you mentioned Dave. Dave Kaufman was on a panel. He was with Barczyk. He was with Mike, Tarzan guy. There's a couple of... The Forrest guy was there. But they were talking about essentially life experiences of doing these wildlife channels and adventures, like travel adventures. That shit was amazing. Because they were talking about traveling the world, seeing all these different cultures, and getting hosted by different cultures, and getting the experience of being with these different people. And to every single person on the panel was like, holy shit, once I traveled outside of the United States, I realized it's a much bigger world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%.
You know? And they were talking just about how much it impacted them in their lives and in their hearts and in their minds, and it expanded their horizons, how much they much more deeply appreciated other cultures and other foods and other people, and how hospitable pretty much anywhere else in the world they would end up. Whether it was in the Philippines, whether it was in South America, whether it was in Africa, the hospitality and welcome that people would give them and bring them into their homes and give them, put together a feast for them, where in reality they couldn't afford such a thing. But it was important for them to show the value of their culture. And so Dave Kaufman was like, it's changed my life. This new perspective on the world has changed my life. And Mike Holston, Tarzan, was like, it's completely changed my life. These are the most valuable experiences I've ever had. And and Barczyk said the same thing, and the other guy said the same thing, and I just thought that's a really valuable message to share.
Yeah. I've been fortunate to be on some of those trips with those guys out of the country.
Sure.
And I can say the same.
I thought that kind of content for me was the best, because it was passionate and it was interesting. When I went to AnimalCon, I thought, because I had my own prejudice, right? It was going to be a room full of young folks, creators. Doing TikTok dances, having giant fucking heads, swollen with megalomaniac egos. We wouldn't even be able to get through the door, and it was just going to be a bunch of me. And it was completely the opposite.
Nice.
Everybody was super humble. Everybody was super passionate about what they did. And everybody just had a great vibe that you could immediately feel. There was no egos there. Nobody was flexing on anybody else. Everybody was just like, this is amazing and great what we get to do. And then they get on a panel. The other crazy thing is most of them are shy as shit in front of people.
Yeah.
That was
a whole
very,
different animal.
yes, it was very, very apparent. All of a sudden these very bright and loud video personalities, whether it's TikTok, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or whatever, are very introverted and shy when put in front of a room full of 200 people.
Sure.
So I thought that was fascinating. And I realized, this is how they can express themselves, right? In front of a camera. There's more security there. And then they get to be themselves or who they want to be and express their passion. And like I said, everybody had passion for what they were doing. Whether it was the reptile folks and of course broken down to the snake guys and the lizard guys and the gecko guys. The most impressive personality of the whole weekend was Ants Canada. That dude is a friggin' superstar. Like, he's just super pro. His personality is great. His engagement was great. He could work the audience great. I didn't know jack shit about ants, but he was fascinating. And apparently he's a huge deal.
Yeah, in the Philippines.
Like he's got whatever, 6-7 million followers or something on his channel and talking about ants, which gives you perspective. Like, there's a whole other segment of, I'm not sure if it's not really pet, but wildlife that I didn't even know it existed.
I'd say pet.
Yeah, I mean, they do keep
Yeah.
captive colonies and captive ants and stuff. But, man, I was super impressed by him. I'd 100% go back just to hear him talk. Just talk about ants.
Well, you're just giving me a little bit more FOMO because there's a trip that's happening. I'm going to go on part of it. I'm just missing the Philippines part of it. They're supposed to go over and hang out with him. I don't get real FOMO anymore, but it would be cool to go to the Philippines and meet that guy because I didn't get to meet him at AnimalCon.
Yeah.
And the crew's going to go over to Southeast Asia, and I'm going to miss the Philippines part of it.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Because it would be an amazing trip.
Yeah, and I've got a bunch of family out there too, so it'd be fun to go and do that. But yeah,
You got other commitments?
I got family coming here too, so I got
okay.
I got
Well,
fourth
here's what
kid coming, so
Oh, well, there you go. That's important.
it is.
Obviously. Yes. Well, you have to go next year, AnimalCon.
Oh, I'm definitely going to AnimalCon.
It's going to be
I'm 100% going.
It's going to be bonkers. Number one, Potter, Ashley, Barczyk, they're going to have to hire a professional production crew to do it because it's going to be 4 times the size. Just because of the feedback from it and the experience everybody had, it's going to be it was already bonkers, even though the turnout was lower than they wanted. But that was a blessing in disguise because if 4,000 people showed up,
they weren't ready for it.
whew, not at all.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. It was already chaotic and madness and so much going on. And I mean, I saw a 45-minute wait for the meet and greets, which I wasn't sure. Is that really going to be a thing? That's a thing people do? And there's a big-ass line of people wanting to meet and greet these creators and personalities. That was fantastic. It was just the vibe and energy there was just amazing. But yeah, next year I think it's going to be explosive.
That's all I've heard from people that I know that went.
Yeah, I didn't hear any bad reviews.
Only bad reviews I heard were from people that didn't go.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, how do you do that?
People were negative on Facebook. I posted just a comment about how good the energy and the vibe was, and then people started bashing it. It looks
People that
terrible.
that weren't there.
Yeah, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to support shit like that. And I thought, man, we're really being too close-minded.
You're always gonna have folks like that.
But it was me too.
Oh,
Like I said, before the event, I was kind of cynical. Like, I don't know what this is going to be, and I think it's going to be a bunch of megalomaniacs, young kids. I'm going to be super fucking aggravated, like a grumpy old man the whole time.
well, it's cool that you went in with that. I mean, well, it's not cool that you went in with that attitude, but it's nice that you did, and were pleasantly surprised.
It was a pretty hard
great.
check. Like, I had to check myself and be like, you fucked it up. You went in with this preconceived prejudice of what it was going to be, and it was something completely different. And so, yeah, it was a check to say, open your mind up a little bit. Allow this thing to happen, and then react to it from there. Don't prejudge it.
Yeah.
And I was, it's 53 years old, still learning these life lessons. And sometimes you got to learn them, 6-7 times. But it was a good lesson. It was a good check. And so a lot of the people that had negative things to say on Facebook, I went back and commented. I said, look, I know what you're saying. I get your vibe, but give it a chance. I guarantee you if you go, you'll really enjoy it. You might not necessarily like everybody that's there. You might have a issue with how this guy executes or that guy executes or whatever.
I don't think I've ever been anywhere with a group of people where I liked everybody that was there.
Right. But the positive takeaways from it vastly outweigh the negatives. It was a terrific event. I was blown away by how good it was.
Sweet, man.
I'm excited to go next year.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Thanks for taking.
And I'll see you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, Robyn.
It's good to see you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming down and talking with us for a minute. I appreciate it.
Yeah, chilling Vegas Super Show. First one, right?
First one. First Reptile Super Show in Vegas.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, me too.
It's a big-ass building. A lot of vendors setting up.
Yep.
Should be very interesting. I'm just hanging out. I'm just freestyling. I will be at Arlington set up.
Okay, cool.
Will I see you there?
No. Going to Sacramento show. It's the same weekend.
That's a really strong show too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll both be doing shows that weekend,
Yeah.
so it'll be the same vibe. But yeah, always good to see you.
You too. Thank you guys for watching. There's a lot more that Robyn has to offer, being somebody that's been in the industry since the early 90s and maybe even a little before. Lots of knowledge there. And we're going to have a Zoom call with him. If you have questions for Robyn that you want to ask directly, there's a link down in the description. Today, the day this video came out, 6 p.m. Pacific time, we'll be doing that Zoom call, and you can go in there and ask Robyn. He's a wealth of information, I'm telling you. If you're trying to start some kind of reptile business, Robyn will be able to give you good advice on what you may or may not want to do going forward with your own reptile business in this industry. So hope to see you guys there for that tonight. Thank you for watching this episode of Triple B TV, and we'll see you next week right back here at the Las Vegas Reptile Super Show. Y'all take care. You've been looking at the what now?
The YouTube,
Which YouTube?
the one on the internet.
Wait, you've been looking at the,
YouTube.com?
are you saying the YouTube,
Yeah.
like people say? Have you signed? the Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. So you've been looking at the YouTube,
Yeah.
and
your videos. Have you always done the kind of just day in the life? Here I am doing stuff during the day videos? Or is that newer?
Been a bit. No, I did a lot of that. I used to do them every day. Back when
really?
So I had Triple B TV was the original channel, the first YouTube channel I had.
Yeah.
And then there was a moment there was like a 30-day period where I started doing vlogs. Or no, sorry, I would do a whatever Wednesday that was kind of like a vlog on this channel. And then right before I went to Indonesia with Brian to go out there, I started a separate channel just for vlogging to keep Triple B TV separate from that. And when I started doing that, so that was 2015, I think, and I started doing like day in the life type stuff. I think I even had a video right at the beginning, like how to cut a pineapple.
Okay, so I'm a little bit late to the game then, but I've just been seeing them. Like, I don't know, the YouTube is forcing it onto my feed, and so I've been seeing your videos, and I really enjoy them.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's really engaging. It's really personable. So yeah, great job.
Thanks, man.
I just was watching. I was like, oh shit, Brian's really doing it here. Because a lot of them, a lot of content on there is not that interesting. I mean, it's hard to be engaging and hard to create content, especially if you're just doing about your life, right? But,
Sure.
But yeah, your stuff was super engaging. I was watching it. Yeah, I was really enjoying it. So
I'm just curious now, which videos did you catch? Do you remember like what was happening in any of them?
there's a lot to do in and around your vehicle, like driving down the road.
Oh, okay. I was
in the back of your car. You're unloading stuff out of the back.
Did I go to
like you and your kids, wife?
That could have, yeah. That's stuff. That could have been.
And I have no idea when it was posted. I don't know how old I was looking at.
Oh yeah. It was like a cut, uncut. I remember I was talking about.
Yeah.
Like I dropped her off at the Goodwill bins, and then we went to go pick up snakes and stuff, or rodents from Lane Labs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the topic. Yeah. Anyway, it just was interesting. I mean, it doesn't have to be revolutionary or talking about astrophysics or anything super deep, but it was just super engaging. I thought it was really good.
I'm trying to remember what it was I was even talking about. I had something I wasn't allowed to talk about something, and that was what was tough in it.
That's right. There was something, you were like, I don't think I could talk about this. But, I mean, it didn't, melt into my brain, so I remembered everything about it. But I just remembered I enjoyed it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm
and
glad
that's what it's about, right?
I do hope that when I make them that they will be enjoyed by otherwise. Otherwise, I would just watch them by myself and never put them anywhere. Nobody's going to like this.
No, I think you're really doing a good job.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Well, this was supposed to be about you, but I don't mind talking about me sometimes.
You're doing really good. Keep it up. You want to do good, feel good. Give it 110%.
Yeah. Although my grandpa said that 110%, that's not possible. He would say.
No, it is. You
Is
go
it?
to 100 and then you give 10 more percent.
But 100% is like everything.
And then you give another 10.
Like the next day after you've given 100 the first day?
Yeah, it's cumulative.
Okay. That makes sense.
My dial goes up to 11,
Oh, yeah, I know that one.
See?
I know that one. I know that one real well.
It's possible.
They're one of 3 movies that were always playing in the house that I played in a band at. We had this little 13-inch VCR TV combo, those little silver ones, set on this table in front of these huge windows that overlooked over to Canada, and like this TV is just dwarfed against this giant wall of windows. and there was always one of 3 VHS types in there playing, even if nobody's in the room. Sometimes the whole band and like guests will be all piled in there watching a movie, or sometimes you walk in and it'd be halfway through the movie, and nobody's sitting in the room. But it was always one of the 3 that we had. And it was,
Spinal Tap was one?
Spinal Tap was one.
Do you remember the other 2?
Half Baked and
Oh,
Lord of
geez.
the Rings.
The first Lord of the Rings? I mean, there's like 18 hours
I know,
worth of
yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
I know. I think it was Twin Towers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We do RV trips, campground stuff, so I can go mountain biking mostly in Canyonlands, Moab, and Grand Junction, and Colorado stuff. And Lord of the Rings is on regular rotation in the camper on the DVD player. That's how I rough it. Out in the wilderness with AC and 400 DVDs. But yeah, it's a good opportunity. You watch Lord of the Rings series, or all of the movies together, or you watch all of the Sopranos, or you watch all of the Shield again, or whatever. But Lord of the Rings is one of the regular rotation.
You watch
ones.
Breaking Bad?
I have not.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't.
I envy you.
Because of what is possible and the experience that's coming.
Exactly.
Now, I think I saw the episode where that guy rings the bell. Isn't that one of the episodes?
That is, yeah.
That's the only one I've seen.
Getting closer towards the end there.
Yeah, it's towards the end.
I've watched it like 3 times.
Oh.
I wait long enough to where it feels like I'm not going to remember everything that happens. Yeah.
Do you know what you're doing? You're giving 110% to Breaking Bad.
I think it's 130 at this point.
It's cumulative. We covered that. Yeah.
This is a very natural interview. I like it. We're not even really. We're just talking at this point.
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Hey, can I do a call back here? So your TV VCR combo, right? It's a little one, right? It's like a little box.
13
and it has the
inches.
VCR underneath.
Yep.
I used to lug one of those fuckers to trade shows
Just
back in the 90s.
Just to watch movies.
No, to play like promos for Pro Exotics back in the day.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I'd set it up like on the edge of the table, facing the crowd, and we had like a 13-minute loop video. I guess that was very early on for that type of content, and hauling a 50-pound TV VCR combo from show to show was not any fun. But yeah, so I dubbed it with the double VCR player, like literally just played it and recorded it and then rewound it. And so I looped it for hours, whatever the long 6-hour tape was. And then, I would stick that in during the show, and it would play, some nonsense tour of Pro Exotics and animals and meet the staff kind of stuff. But, yeah, it reminded me of those days. The
You've
little
been in it
TV VCR combo.
Been in it for a hot minute. You were at AnimalCon.